Hello, hello. Hopefully everything is working here. Doesn't look like... Looks like chat's misbehaving again, so give me 1 second here. Hopefully you can all hear me. I don't know why this always seems to happen lately, but it should be a quick refresh. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Alright, hopefully we are good on both platforms here. Hopefully we're good both places. Az, when did you get here to redeem this? My goodness, you're fast. But hopefully everything is going well. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. Let's see. Make sure I have everything set up. I'm trying something a little bit different today, so you'll have to bear with me as I try and figure out some of the setup today. Let's see. I think we should be good for the most part. I think we've set everything up. Let's see here. I think we should be good. How's everyone doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everything is going well for people. We're gonna have a little bit of a different type of stream today. I'll sort of wait for more people to get in here before I go on that whole spiel and explain it, but how has everybody been doing? How has anybody been working on any new projects or anything? Hopefully everything has been well. Let me make sure that I have this all set up here. I think this should be all right. Let's see. Okay. So, how do I want to start this? Well, why are these not playing? I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today, I apologize. I'm going to try to play a little bit of a video beforehand, so we're going to see if we can get that working for the most part. I'm also trying to make sure that this is all set up and working. It should be. But yeah, so basically, we finished the mansion piece, off stream, and I sent that off to the client, and I'm going to be showing that off really soon. Hopefully by the end of the week or so, I'm going to try and have a speed paint, corroborated for it, for, like, every, all the streams we've done, and everything I've done off stream to paint it. It's definitely been a really interesting journey, going through that piece. I think I learned a lot working on it. But I'm hopefully going to be able to show that off at the end of the week. And then, I think by Saturday, we're hopefully going to be working on a little bit of an experiment. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go, but we are going to try and, do a bit of a speed paint in the same way that we're doing here. It's sort of a style that I want to try and get better at, especially on stream. So we've had some streams lately where we've been working on one piece for a large part of the stream, and I'm going to try to go back to what we were doing before, which is trying to finish one piece within the regular stream time, and we're going to see how that goes. I think I want to try painting other VTubers to do that. I think I want to try playing around and experimenting with that. But today, what we're probably going to do is we're going to work on some flower painting. So if you guys were interested in the in the speed paint, I kind of want to go through a little bit of my process. The style I mentioned without line art, yeah, exactly, has. So I do like a little bit of a I can do a clean line art, but I'm actually more comfortable with not doing line art. showed you a little bit last stream with the couch that we were painting, that you can do a lot without the line art, just sort of painting it as if you were working on like an oil painting. So I want to work a bit on that and sort of kind of combine a little bit of line art with it just to get some crisper edges, but doing a lot of paint over. I'm not really sure how this stream is going to go in terms of doing paint work, but I think we are going to try it out and see what happens. But what I think I'm going to do here is we're going to do a little bit of something different today. We're going to go over to our main scene. And you'll see that my canvas isn't really here right now, right? But does anybody here know the artist Kim Jung Gi? I mean, you might have heard about him in the news recently. But basically what happened is he passed away recently, and for those who don't know, he's a really, really, really fantastic artist. He's really... He's honestly one of a kind. Like, there's just no comparing this artist to anybody else. He was really in a league of his own, and you guys know how I paint. You've seen me paint on stream. I want to show you a little bit of a time-lapse of how this man worked, and I just want you to understand, like, how special he is to the art community, because the way that he draws is not the normal way that anybody else draws. It's not a way that anyone should even be able to draw, frankly. But he can, and he's just been so known for this. So I'm just gonna play a little bit of a time-lapse here. Hopefully, I have never played a video on stream, so we're gonna see if this works. But I just want you to sort of take a look at what he does. This is him doing some work for a game company, and he's doing a little bit of a demo on this giant canvas, right? So everything he does is pen and ink. He doesn't use any references, and he doesn't do any sketching beforehand. He just goes straight on the canvas. This is not a normal way that people work. This is beyond anything that we can imagine, right? I mean, this is pretty much what people would call godlike. And he works on these giant canvases, and he can just kind of go at it in the most insane way. I've never seen any artist like this. This just isn't... It's it's not normal, I want to say. Like, there's no roughs, there's no planning, there's no trying to reference every character. He can just go at it. His visual library is so expansive and so vast that he can just create these insane masterpieces, and he's telling stories the entire time, right? Every character is interacting, every character is engaging with each other, every character is talking to each other, looking at each other, reacting to something. There is story in every corner of this piece, and it is so amazing to see. And the mansion piece I did was maybe a 10,000th of a fraction of this kind of thing, right? Like, I was drawing characters that were engaging and interacting, but he just takes this to an unreal next level that we just really can't comprehend, frankly. And he is an inspiration to so many artists worldwide. And I had to share that with you guys because I really wanted you to be able to understand who this man was and why everyone's talking about him and why he's so special and unique, right? So let me see if I can figure out where I just put this. Get to our main canvas here. And basically, his family has said that what they would like for him is for people to paint and draw flowers in his honor. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be painting flowers. So even if you are an artist, or even if you're not an artist yourself, I do want to encourage you to also paint some flowers with me. Even if you are not, you know, professionally trained, even if you just do it as a hobby, even if it's just like on a napkin sketch, I really, really encourage you to join me in painting flowers together. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to start roughing up out the flower shapes I want. And I know for myself, I want this to be a cherry blossom shape. So let me see if I can sort of understand how I was thinking about it in my mind. I sort of want this cherry blossom branch coming off from the side of the canvas. And I painted this on the wrong layer. We're off to a great start so far. Okay. I think later on during the stream, I will try and play that video again so that people really understand where I'm coming from here. So we'll sort of take a break midway and show people that video again, because I really do think it's important. I think a lot of people who may not have heard of him should really see like what it is that we're doing, because it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. So we're gonna see how this turns out here. Hello, Murdoch. How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going well on your end. And I'm sort of just very quickly basing it out. I can't do what he does. I can't just go straight from nothing. I have to sort of figure a little bit out of it in my head first, right? But I just want to get the general idea down. And I might have some pieces in the background. I might have some pieces that have like a little bit of a camera difference to them. But I'm just sort of going to go in here. And actually, I'm going to change the color there to match a little closer, since we're doing cherry blossoms. So I'm gonna make it very light. I don't need much detail. And I think I'm just gonna base in a color here for the sky. Maybe something a little more neutral. And a little bit brighter. So I want to go with something that is kind of... Well, I'm gonna be a little experimental with it, right? I want some very deep tones and I want some very light tones. We're gonna go with sort of a very crystalline feeling, right? Because that's sort of my aesthetic. That's sort of like what I try to focus on. And I want to take that clean crystalline feeling and bring that into nature. Never seen me draw this fast before? Well, this is the thing, right? This is why I sort of want to really try experimenting with this style. I'm racking my brain on writing professional development and review stuff. Pain in the backside. Professional development and review stuff on yourself. Oh, that sounds like introspection type stuff. That sounds interesting. We're gonna go back here, and I'm just sort of going to start basing in my my colors here, right? So I know this is sort of going to be a little bit of a pink, a little bit of a white, a little bit of an in-between, but I just really need to get the... I'm basically just blocking it in at this point, right? Hello, Tusa. How are you doing today? And I might just, I might either paint over my lines, or I might... I might erase them. I'll see what works, but I just sort of want to give a very light and airy perspective here, right? And I have off screen because I don't have his visual memory bank. But I've got some photos of cherry blossoms and some of diamonds and all kinds of things to really try and push this feeling we want to go for. And like I said, today is going to be very, very experimental. And again, even if you don't draw, even if you are not someone who would consider themselves to be an artist, please consider drawing a flower in any form you want, any kind of flower you want. And paint along with these flowers with me, because I think it would just be something really nice to do. I'm gonna try to do one more large one in the front right here. I suppose I should have advertised this stream more because it is a little more different than what I normally do. And then we'll have one down here. And I'm being very loose with the petals. That's the really nice thing about flowers, is they don't have to be that precise, you know? They don't have to have like the symmetry of a human's face. They're very gentle and they're very organic, and it's something that everyone can draw. Even if you think that you're not an artist, there's something very special about flowers that's very approachable to all kinds of people. And I think that was a really smart idea for his family to ask everyone to draw flowers, because it's such a universal thing, right? Every culture has some sort of respectful flower. I'm painting off the edge here because I can always crop it later, so we're not really limited there, which is nice. And I also want to make sure that I'm changing the sizes, adding a little bit more variety here. We'll have some smaller ones and some larger ones in here, and then I think we'll be good to start rendering them out a little bit more. Have some in the distance here. There we go. I think that should be good. So I'm gonna start throwing in some more color, since now we have something that is very, very white and basic. I want to start throwing in a little bit more color. And hopefully by the end of this, it's going to have a lot of color. My goal is to really, really push the color in this. We're gonna see how it goes. This is, again, a little bit different for me, but we shall see, right? I want to get the inside here a little bit. Probably don't need to lock the layer. I could probably just paint over what I need to. So I'm just sort of adding the little in-between areas here. Might make it a little bit darker, a little bit less saturated. And we're really just playing around, right? We're really just having fun here. I do feel a little bit like Bob Ross right now, I suppose. I normally don't draw anything nature-related on stream, do I? Well, that should probably be something saved for at the end. We're just sort of having a very calming atmosphere here. And I also, I made a second playlist, so that all the songs here are going to, you know, not be like some of the speedy racer, weird, mysterious ones that sometimes pop up. So we should be good here for just a very nice environment, nice painting time. And I'm just sort of adding in the star centers of the flower. It's a strong start, that's good. The weird thing about, painting like this is sometimes you can have a really, really strong start, but then as you keep going and rendering, you can start getting a little lost about where to go. It can start off strong and then sort of leave you feeling a little bit lost towards the end, so I'm gonna try watching out for that. Because you can rough out something that looks really nice, but then when you have to actually go and add detail, it can be tricky to know where it goes. I think I should probably throw in a layer for branches, just in case, just so I don't lose that and have that be a little too late. So I'm just going to rough in where I think some of the branches here would go. Maybe we'll have some cherry blossoms that haven't bloomed yet. We'll still have them in like the seed form, right? And I might need to change the shape of some of these because I think some of them don't really look like cherry blossoms anymore. And I'm still trying to see, like, what sort of will be in the background versus the foreground. I don't want it to look too stiff. I want to make sure I'm still scattering things enough. And again, we might do some buds here. Might actually help here to finish it off. That might be good. Something like that. Maybe we'll do another flower there. And go back to our main layer. And I'm kind of just going to go in with an eraser and refine the edges here a little bit. They're not feeling very cherry blossom-like to me at the moment. They're feeling a little bit hibiscus-y. So let me just erase the edges here, make sure that we are somewhat a little bit more on the right track there. Especially right here, I think. Maybe we should, you know, refine the shape of the petals just a little bit more. And I can keep going through this. I can sort of just keep going around. And there's all different types of cherry blossoms, so I should keep that in mind as well, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I think this will start coming together once we actually get in the shading. We don't have any shading right now, so I don't think it's fully having the depth that I want, but this should have a lot of shading by the end, hopefully. Because we're going to go with some very, very deep tones, right? think that's good. We're gonna go back to our main layer here. I'm just gonna sort of add some of the bud shapes. It could be a little bit like half bloom to make sure my colors are right here. And I think what I'm going to do right now is, I'm just gonna combine that. It is all in one layer now. Sort of helps me paint around things and clean it up a little bit easier. And I want to add a little bit more of a curvature. I don't want this branch to feel as stiff as it does at the moment. I'm going to move these around just a bit so we have some more variety. Let me see how easily I can move this around. It's a big canvas, so I guess it's feeling a little heavy. I think that's a little bit of a nicer balance than we had before. I might sort of shrink the whole thing a little bit. Make sure it's all within the space we have. That feels a little bit better. I'm just gonna go in and keep refining here. Trying to get that iconic shape that it has. And making sure that I'm connecting these flowers here. There we go. Okay. A little bit more here just to cover this up. I'll probably leave that. That works. And then a little bit of the buds here. I'm just sort of thinking here, thinking out loud a little bit. Should probably start adding in some more of the color, giving everything a little bit more of a pink tone, right? Trying to see if that is going to come from the middle or if this just needs like a nice wash over it. Maybe a nice wash would actually do it better. I'm gonna make a new layer and clip that. And everywhere there's a flower, I'm just going to kind of go over it very loosely. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of going to tone down the pure white to make sure to add a little bit of the inside there too, before I forget. I'm just going over here very, very loosely. We can keep rendering it later. But I just want to actually get the cherry part of the cherry blossom. I just want to give it that pink feeling that we had before. So I'm just gonna ever so slightly make sure that I actually have it in the right tone that I need. It's feeling a little bit orange. Don't want it too purple either. Maybe some sort of in-between almost. It's very subtle, but I think it should work nicely. Thank you for the save, Has. I'll make sure to save. Yeah, you're right, Murdoch. That's okay. I was kind of hoping that this one would pick up a little bit just because it's a little bit important to me, but that's fine. And I'm just going to sort of go over again and hit the edges with a white. And we're just sort of establishing a highlight here. And I'm just going to combine those, so those are all in one layer now, again. Add a little bit of that in-between color. And I think I need to start adding in some shadows, right? I'm trying to make sure that I have the right tones. But I want to start adding in a little bit on the inside. Hello, Dolphin. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you here. I hope everything is going well today. We're just sort of adding a little bit of a realism to it, right? And eventually I do want to get to the point here where it's not going to look like a pure flower, right? Like I was saying before, we just sort of want to... we want to turn this into something a little more magical. But I do have to establish my bases first, just so I know what I'm going to be doing. And it would be easier to probably just make a basic flower, but I've had this in my head for a bit now, and I want to roll with it. I want to sort of show you a bit of what's in my forest. And how should we be approaching this? I'm going to erase a little bit of this in-between area that we had before. A little bit of these sketch pieces. See, this is why I'm saying, like, you don't always need line art. You can have the line art to give you a little bit of a guide. But you don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to let it limit you. And I think there are some pieces that look fantastic with line art. Do not get me wrong there. But there's also a part of things that can be very loose and freeing if you just play around with the paint a little bit, right? Okay, I want to make sure I start getting in those deeper shadows. I'm gonna make sure that these are saturated enough. And I want sort of a little bit of an overlap here. And I'm still playing around, right? So I'm not really outlining, I'm just sort of getting the edge where the light isn't going to hit it as much. And I'm making it very solid because that's what's going to give us that crystalline effect. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. If this goes how I have it in my head anyway. It's very possible that the vision that I have is beyond what I'm currently understanding of how to paint. So this is all very, very experimental. This may result in a bit of a failure, but the important part is that we are experimenting and having fun and just seeing what we can do with things. You might think at this point I'm ruining it and losing the delicacy, but I'm hoping to bring it back. But if I understand anything about crystals, it is the essence of the lightest lights and the darkest darks, and that difference and sort of its unity, right? There's such a contrast when it comes to crystals. And there's something very beautiful about that contrast. It's like the only way that you can show how bright they are is with the dark. Without that dark, the brightness is not nearly as powerful. And, you know, you sort of see that if you go to a jeweler, right? They pretty much show everything on black borders. Or like a black velvet table. Because let's say the diamond, for example, they're really pushing that contrast. And they want to show off how much that diamond is going to be glowing. Then they have to use that light and dark. So you see that I'm pretty much only putting the dark on one side because I'm seeing the light coming through here. That should be a good way to start. And I also have to put it where the light is going to reflect as well, but sort of in more fractal areas. I knew that on the edge it had to be dark. But I also need some darks here. Hello, Kesar. How are you doing today? And there is a part of me here that is just playing around with color and sort of experimenting live and seeing what happens. And seeing what effects I'm going to get when I approach this way. It's very experimental, right? But I encourage you guys to experiment in your work too. Seem to have forgotten this flower entirely. I'm sorry about that. So we're building up our base here. And I'm just sort of adding some few indentations on the edges so that it doesn't get lost. Sort of helps tie things together a bit more. And then what we're going to do to give it that crystalline effect is we're going to start putting in other colors. So it's not just going to remain pink. We're going to sort of play around here and start adding colors that we might not normally see in it. It's going to give it a bit of that playful fantasy feeling. And you can see that I'm using a cyan because it's a really nice contrast with the pink that we've established. I'm not doing it everywhere because I still need other room to add other colors. We need a variety. We literally need like a rainbow of variety here, right? I'm gonna add it a little bit on the petals themselves. It might sort of feel like a muddy mess in this stage. This might be what we're calling the ugly phase, where you just have to keep going and seeing what it's going to turn into, right? I'm gonna start adding it a little bit to the branches here too. I'm going to start throwing in some other colors that we might not normally see. And I want to make sure that I'm kind of creating these in triangles. There's a bit of a fractal shape going on here. Hello, Steve. Just stopping by to say hi? Alright, I still really appreciate that. Thank you so much for stopping by to say hi. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I appreciate you taking the time. think this is the interesting thing about painting, is you can make something that can look very impressive in a very short amount of time, but then there's so much of it that just gets taken into the rendering stage, right? And that's sort of where all the time ends up going. But we're getting tighter and tighter as we go here. We're sort of building up that tightness. And as you can see, I'm sort of erasing and going back into the branches, and I want to give them a little bit more of a shape. I'm just sort of figuring out how thick I want these branches to be. Maybe start figuring out the edges a little bit more, right? I'm just sort of going in here and ever so gradually figuring out where I want these things to be. I'm just sort of going here and focusing on sharpening things. I think that the thickness of the brush can really make things look a little bit amateur if you're not conscious of cleaning it up. So I'm just doing things by making sure that I have like sharp lines on the edges, right? I think that's a really easy one to fix, but an easy one to make as well. And now the flowers are starting to look real. Yeah, I mean, even just like making sure that you fix the branches, that helps a lot too, right? Everything associated with it. And then I think I might start adding a little bit of just to sort of make sure that I can see where my vision is. I want to start adding some fractals here as it's going to be reflecting. They don't have to be perfect, but just sort of something else here that just kind of sort of giving it something a little bit different. And hopefully with some glows and dodges and all of those fun tricks, we can make something that looks nice. Hello, Vessa! How are you? It's lovely to see you. We're painting flowers today in honor of Kim Jung Gi. And I'm telling people in chat, like, even if you don't normally draw, even if you just do like little sketches on a sticky note, I think it's still nice that for people to try to draw some flowers for this person. Yukiya, thank you so much for resubscribing. 4 months, my goodness. How are you doing? I hope everything is going well. I was just telling Vessa that we are working on painting flowers for Kim Jung Gi to sort of honor his memory and his work. And if you want to join in, then please feel free to. If you are an artist, if you're not an artist, it doesn't really it doesn't matter. I think that it's just a really nice thing to do, right? Maybe I'll play that video again that I was talking about earlier and sort of give everyone a chance to see what it is that I'm talking about, because I think that this person is honestly really, really special. And of course, I didn't know this person personally, but he's been such an inspiration for so many artists, and I really think it's worth acknowledging. You're doing good? I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing all right. I'm sort of being very experimental today with this. I don't usually draw, like, nature pieces or foliage or anything, but I'm sort of trying out something today, and we're gonna see how it goes. Might turn out great, might not. We're just having fun. I'm feeling a little bit of that Bob Ross energy today. I'm just sort of making it go a little bit radial. Something like that I think is good. See if we can get something a little more different, a little more unique here. I heard of this artist after his passing, but I'm not familiar with any of his work. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna show this off again because I think it's important. I'm just gonna save this real quick, make sure we don't lose what we have here. So basically, what I was saying in the beginning of the stream is, for those of you who don't know Kim Jung Gi, okay, even if you just tuned in here 5 minutes ago, you can see my process, right? You can see that I'm sort of like sketching things out, refining, going back in, cleaning things up, really trying to figure out what it is that I should be working on to sort of fix, refine, change around, all that kind of stuff. The person that we're doing this in honor for, they don't draw like a normal artist, and I really and it sounds kind of rude in a way if I say that, but I really, really think that you have to see what they do to understand what I'm saying. If you are an artist, you typically reference the material you need. You typically do a little bit of a sketch first to get your ideas down, sort of figure out your composition. And then there's this person. Let me see if I can find it here. We're gonna play a short video here of a time-lapse that this person did for a game advertisement, and you will see what I mean. This artist has inspired hundreds around the world, or hundreds, geez, hundreds of thousands around the world, and for good reason. This is Kim Jung Gi. He doesn't draw like any other artist I've ever seen in my life. And he does everything in pen and ink. And he works on giant canvases. And he's hired by companies all over the world. And I have a hard time explaining any of it. Because this is beyond, right? This is not how an artist typically draws. It's not. The way that, there's no planning involved, there's no references involved, there's just... And every character is interacting, every character is telling a story, every character is engaged with each other, or reacting to each other, or, you know, trying to figure out what the other is doing. And it, like I was saying earlier, the mansion piece I did is kind of like 1/1,000,000th of what this artist does. And he can draw every character engaging and interacting with each other, and I did a tiny bit of that in the mansion piece. I had everyone reacting and doing different things, and they were sort of all in this large display, but then there's Kim Jung Gi. And there's really no describing what he did and how he did it. And it's basically just the biggest visual library in one's head that you could ever imagine, right? There's really no describing it. So that's why I think it's important to share. Yeah. And his family has asked people all over to draw flowers. And that's why I picked flowers. And even if you don't draw yourself, I think that, you know, it's still nice to just do something. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at a bit here, right? I think I'm gonna sort of take in some blues so we can get a bit of that transparency feeling going on. And again, I really don't know how well this is going to work in my head. But I want to get sort of that, the background behind the flowers here. Sort of the background of that blue. What I might try doing, actually, that might help is reducing the opacity, duplicating the layer, and then painting over it. I might see if that works. Because I want these to feel like glass. Refining your craft is good, but so is stepping out of your artistic comfort zone every now and again. Yeah, for sure. Excuse me one sec. Alright. I'm gonna grab a bit of that background here and try to push it into these higher up flowers. I definitely agree that stepping outside of your comfort zone is good, and I think that, I think that's why, Murdoch likes to show me all of the Gundam and, other robot-type things, encouraging me to step outside the comfort zone a little. It's still not quite getting where I want it to be yet. I think I'm really deep in the ugly phase now. I'll get you to step out of the comfort zone once I hit the 12k redeem. Oh, okay. I'm nervous then. Don't redeem it today, if possible. Just because I sort of want to dedicate this stream just for the flower work, but anytime after is fine. Do you think it's, do you think it's priced too high at all? Because I was, like, trying to just sort of gauge and guess on that one, based on what people were saying before. So I'm wondering if maybe I have it set too high this time before it was too low. Maybe Maybe I should change it. I don't know. It's really hard for me to tell these kind of things. Alright, these are starting to look a little messy. I think I also need to unify the palette a bit nicer. So I'll probably do an overlay here. I'm adding some... Probably add some yellow. Just to kind of... go back from the... Just a tiny bit. I don't want that to be super overpowering. Just a little bit of yellow to contrast the blue. This isn't quite in the color scheme I want, so I might do a few adjustments. It depends on how much you enjoy interrupting your work to do them. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You're right. I kind of forgot about that part. I guess I just don't want to, like, frustrate people? I don't know. It's a tricky thing to figure out. That might be a little too intense on the yellow. Might try to reduce that just a little bit here. And I think I'm going to duplicate this and sort of make it like a nice in between here. I think I'm going to change the color balance just a bit. I want to change it a little. Can't quite see what I'm doing here. Something like that. It's probably a little nicer. Let's see what happens if we try to make this sort of like 2 layers almost, right? Like I said, guys, I'm experimenting here. I'm really not sure how it's going to turn out. Maybe we'll try this and throwing in an overlay. Maybe I need... Okay, let's try duplicating that. Overlaying. Okay, that's starting to almost get where I want it. It's a little bit closer. Does it matter how it turns out? I mean, I guess not, but I want to try doing a good job. What do you mean? Alright, I'm just sort of going to add a little bit of hue shift on the edges here. Do I have any plans for December? I'm probably going to need to do winter holiday assets in some form. I don't think any directly. Why do you ask, Yukia? What is this missing? This is missing something, but I can't quite figure out what it is yet. And I'm still going to add some little flourishes that'll hopefully tie it together. I think it's just not unified. I think I may be using too many colors. I'm going to try to use a tone curve here. Maybe there's too much green in it. See if I can just sort of play around here, just sort of experimenting, right? That's what I was saying before, we're just sort of experimenting. Doesn't do much, does it? Yeah, I'll leave it off for now. Just curious if I was doing anything special during the holidays like before. What was I doing before? Was I doing anything... Did I do anything special for the holidays? I don't think I did. I think I was frustrated that I couldn't, right? Am I forgetting something? What was last year? What did I do? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember from day to day theme-specific drawings. Did I? Theme-specific oh! Wait. Like the... Do you mean like the greeting card? Like the holiday card? Is that what you're referring to? Oh, okay. I haven't thought about it, but I'm probably going to have to make one anyway. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to be making a holiday card anyway, so I probably will send that out to the, to Ko-fi members regardless. But I guess I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. I don't know if you saw the, latest post I made there, but I'm sort of hoping to figure that out and see, like, where that's all gonna go in the future going forward. This is just not the right tone, I think. I'm gonna try doing a little overpass again here. I know that looks weird. Bear with me. Let's see. Do a little bit of a... That's feeling nice. That's sort of giving the feeling I want, and maybe just reduce the opacity just a little bit. Don't need it to be that intense. Let's see if we can just turn that down just a little bit so it's not super, super bright. That should be good. I think there's still a lot that I need to learn about this kind of setup. But let's try seeing what happens when we add a little bit of that branch back into the background. And I think I'm going to change the color of the branch a little too. Because right now the branch doesn't quite make sense. It's just sort of like little pockets of color. Let's try overlaying the branch. I want the branch to have a little bit more of a fantasy color to it. There we go. It's feeling a little bit better. We just want to push that a little bit more. And then I might see what happens if we just kind of arrange in some more intense brights here. And of course, I'm still doing it in kind of triangular shapes because I'm trying to get a bit of that fractal patterning going. And I'm going to sort of shift the colors that I'm doing from like lights to more of a pink tone, more of a blue tone, change it up a little. This looseness almost gives it a more enjoyable vibe than trying to do something stiff, right? I think there's a balance to it, and it's a balance that I'm still trying to figure out myself. But I think there's a lot you can do with it. Make sure I don't move these over as I'm working on them. Add some little bit of a more intense pink here. Tie the flowers together a little bit more. Kind of like this, and then I think what I'm going to try doing, this is, again, really experimental, but I'm gonna try adding a little bit of a... I'm gonna duplicate this just in case, because I don't want to mess it up and then be stuck. I'm going to make the inside a little bit see-through. Right, giving us a bit of that transparent effect. Hello, Geekish, how are you doing? Hopefully you are doing well. I think some of this, I think the transparency definitely helps in that glassine effect that we're going for, right? I think that transparency is very powerful. I'm going to try adding a little bit of transparency here on the flowers as well. And I'm also going to do what I can to overlay them, right? And notice that I'm working in the middle. I'm not doing anything on the edges, because the edges are always going to be very sharp and defined, and the middle is what's sort of going to pick up that transparency. But I want to pick up a little bit of the background color as well. And grab a little here. Now it's starting to feel more crystalline, isn't it? Sort of, you know, getting that transparent effect going. I think we're starting to... I think it's starting to come together. I think we had a little bit of a bumpy road in the beginning, but I think it's actually starting to come together a little bit. Which is good. That makes me happy. I'm sort of just going to go back in and add crystalline areas here as well. Just sort of keep pushing that effect. You thought they looked crystalline when you first hopped in? Nah, you can always keep pushing the rendering styles, right? And it's almost good to sometimes do it in like multiple stages, multiple layers, and you can kind of overlay them on top of each other. That can really help with the effect too. But yeah, this is sort of a bit of the foliage in the forest, so to speak, right? When I first hopped in, I was like, I think she's making them like crystals. I knew what you were going for. Oh. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm really glad that that's coming across. And, you know, I want to try to keep improving this technique as I go. I think it's like a really... I'm probably very, very biased, but I really like this look visually, and I want to try to add it to a lot of different things. I think there's something very enjoyable about it. And again, if you guys are, if you guys want to, then please consider drawing a flower yourself and throw it into the stream chat channel. And then we can sort of see like what everyone is doing for making flowers. And it doesn't matter if you are an artist or if you're not, if you just appreciate art and want to do something on a little sticky note, it doesn't matter at all. I just want to... I think it would be really cool if other people kind of participated in wanting to do this. And you don't have to. I'm not saying anyone has to. But you can kind of get a sense of why this person has been so inspiring to so many creatives. And fans of creativity, right? To see that... to see the insanity of being able to work so insanely the way that they do. Thank you, Murdoch. I appreciate that. Geekish, we are talking about somebody named Kim Jung Gi, and they sadly passed away recently. But their family has asked them to, for everyone, to draw them flowers as sort of a memory to them. So that is what we are doing today, and that is why we are doing it. And you don't have to, but I do think it would be nice. Please don't think that I'm trying to pressure anyone to draw flowers. It's entirely if you want to. And if you don't, then that's completely okay. There's something very, very soothing sometimes about just working with in a thick paint style and not really worrying about the rendering of it. And just sort of going in and adding paint in a very fun and gentle way. Still can't find the Apple Pencil? No! I mean, I hope you can, just because I think it would be really fun for you to get back into it in general. I'm sorry you can't find it, though. That's so frustrating. I think I just realized that I forgot to turn on the time-lapse for this, unfortunately. But hopefully I can use the stream recording. That was not smart. Forgetting to do that. I was worried about trying to set up so many other things that I completely neglected to do that. Oh well. Lesson learned for next time. Okay. I think we still need to push more of the intensity of these things. I'm going to... What is this? I don't even know what that layer was. I'm gonna try cheating just a little bit. We're gonna push the intensity. Push the contrast a little bit here. See if that makes a difference. Ever so slightly. I'm just sort of going to refine a bit more of those seeds that we have here. for the ones that haven't bloomed. I have a few cherry blossoms here in the side that are still sort of in a seed form, right? I think I'm gonna do the same thing here. Making it a little bit transparent, giving it a bit of that glass feeling. I have more time to go back into it after this month. This is the busiest month for me at work. Oh, right. Yeah, I remember, Vessa. Oh, geez. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember you telling me how chaotic it gets. I'm sorry about that. I've recorded multiple videos I can't redo with a really low mic. Ugh. Hate that. Yeah, we try to learn from our mistakes. It takes a few times. Sometimes we do it multiple times. You know? I'm glad that I have a save command that people have been helping me out with, because that has aided me a few times. Not gonna lie. Trying to see what I can do to get a bit more of that overlay and transparency here. What else am I needing to get? It's so hard for me to push the darker darks because they are really unintuitive for me, you know? But I know that they help. Let's throw this on a new layer, and we're just going to experiment and see how much these darker darks help. Because they're still just really, really unintuitive. I'm not as good at pushing myself to work with that, you know? Because you think in something very light, you wouldn't use dark colors, but you do. And I was saying earlier that you really can't have that intensity of how bright these are without using dark elements. So it's hard for me to get used to, but I know that it adds a huge difference in the end. It's something I still have to work on. Contrast is definitely, has, in the past, been a very big weakness of mine. So I've been working on trying to really push the contrast more than I used to. It's just so unintuitive. But I know it works. I know that pushing things further than you think they should go does work. You can already sort of see it here, right? Probably need to change the hue of this, but... And I know it works because I can see it in the branches. The fact that the edges are really dark is really helping the light areas pop. Incapable of learning from your mistakes, very high budget. I'm sorry that both of you are dealing with heavy workloads this month. That I might change the value of. We're kind of going in and overlapping the different colors here. almost optical in a way. I think as I'm adding these darker colors, I am liking how it's turning out more. I wasn't so sure of it in the beginning, but I really think that that's a big amount of the ugly phase part that I've been mentioning, right? Just sort of trying to go through and trust your process a little. And it's not easy. It's really not easy sometimes. And it doesn't always work either. Just because you trust your process doesn't mean it's always going to turn out nice, but I think it's a good skill to learn. And something I've had to learn many times for quite a while. I remember there's times where I've said that we needed to get through the ugly phase, and people thought that I was saying that somebody had an ugly face. So maybe I should start saying ugly stage, but you guys know what I mean. Ay. I might change the tone of this just so it's not so scarlet, but we'll see. I also want to make sure that I'm getting back in the middle area. I do think I'm losing it a little. Oof. But yeah, for those who didn't hear yet, I am hoping to learn how to do more pieces like this. Things that we can sort of finish within a stream. And I am hoping to practice and evolve to the point that I can do that with human characters. You guys know that despite the fact I've had a lot of chances to improve human characters, which I'm extremely grateful for, I don't have the most confidence when it comes to the swiftness and speed of it. So I'm hoping that in painting human characters in a thick painting style on stream, that I can sort of push the the confidence of it a little bit. That's part of the reason I do have the Twitch redeem the way it is. Forces me to try to work fast. Thank you so much for tuning in, Haz. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are. But thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. With Thorn Curry Scalesa. Yeah, that was like... I can do beasts. I can do animals very, very, very quickly. Because that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm familiar with, but... yeah. People? Still working on people. Beasts, though? Beasts are fun. Oh, you know what? Funny story. Funny story about beast drawing. Hang on, I just need to focus on this area really quick here before I share that, just so I make sure I'm getting the shape here right. Okay. Excuse you. Go away. Shoo. Stop. All the above. So I'm very, very comfortable drawing beasts in all forms. Humans not so much, but beasts for sure. And, I one time entered this, how did this work? I went to one of those, what do you call it? In art school, we had we had a club, what did they call it? Where basically, like, it was to determine what kind of activities the school would do. I went to a very small art school, and then I moved to a larger one, later on. It was actually part of the same program. The schools knew each other. It was kind of a unique case, but I was part of this, let's just call it a club for ease of understanding, where we basically picked all the crazy events that come in, like, you know, when they bring in, like, a hypnotist, or, a musician, or all that kind of stuff. And I went on a retreat to sort of pick who the next people were going to be performing at the school for fun events over the year. Budget council. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of saying it. That's not how we, that's not how we described it, but that's pretty accurate, so let's go with that. So we went to these events to sort of figure out what the events, we went to essentially a convention to figure out what the events for the year were going to be. And there was some event where, I think we were there for like 3 days or something, like a weekend. And there was some event where you could try to, as a younger student, essentially try out, to see how unique your talent would be if you wanted to do this kind of thing. And I was trying to think of something I could do on stage, and this was before I was streaming, actually. You know what? That would actually make a really good Twitch redeem. I'm sorry, I'm getting very off track. But I was trying to think of something that would be fun to do on stage. And they gave us all kinds of basic supplies if we needed them. And I thought, you know what I could probably do is I could probably, like, I'm very much obsessed with Pokemon. So I'm really, I really like doing, like, you know, crazy creatures. So I thought, you know what? I have an idea. I'll ask someone, in an audience to give me 3 different animals, and then I think I did like a 1 minute, what was it, like 1 minute. It was basically like in 60 seconds, I will combine these animals and draw them on this big paper board. And it was so silly, and I think the first time I wasn't really expecting to do it, and then they were like, oh, you should actually, like, try doing this seriously. So I didn't end up winning it, quote unquote. The winner was like, they would have gone to like some beach state and tried performing it in front of more people. I guess it was like a sort of, almost like a Got Talent type thing. But I was still able to impress the non-artist people. And it was funny, and I could just sort of, like, ask them to give me any animal, and then I would just combine them, any 3 animals, and I would just combine them into, like, one big animal. It wasn't very impressive, because, you know, 60 seconds, there's not really room to do things at a crazy level, but I've always been able to do weird things like that. I have, like, weird party tricks. I can combine different animals, and I can cut a silhouette of an animal out of paper. Those are my weird party tricks. And I don't know, they're kind of random, but they're kind of fun. Murdoch. Oh my gosh. No, no, nothing like that, Bessa. Oh, jeez. Yeah, years of observing Pokemon has gotten me to that point. Alright. Oh my gosh, okay. That adds so much! That adds so much already! That was so needed! That was so necessary! Oh my gosh. I do want to change the value a little bit, but... maybe make that not as intense, but dang. That really helps a lot. Ah! I'm just gonna sort of touch upon it a little bit, lighten it in certain areas, keep it dark in others. Alright. That was very necessary, I feel. I'm gonna see if I should change the hue or if I should just keep it where it is. Yeah, I'm gonna shift that slightly more purple. I'm just making sure I get the little seed areas in here too, which I think some of them lost their saturation point. I can't answer that. Bessa, I swear. Why did this get so dull? Alright. Okay. Okay, we're starting to bring that back a little bit. That's good. Are you saying I'm doing it? I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just answering your previous message. That's all. Alright. Okay, dokie. Start pushing a little bit of that dark again on the edge, and adding a little bit of that transparency. There we go. Okay. What else does this need? What does it need? What does it need? What does it need? It needs definitely some sort of like rainbow type thing, but I'm not gonna touch that until the end. I think I'm gonna throw on some sun highlights, just a little bit, sort of getting a little those rays down. Maybe make that a little more tense. I've done sun rays enough, but it's always a little bit tricky for me to understand how it best should work. Something maybe around there. Still doesn't feel bright enough to me. Still not, maybe the saturation level needs to change a little bit. Let me see if I change the saturation a tiny bit, and almost. I kind of want to, I'm trying to figure out how I can keep that intensity on the bottom. It's really, I kind of want to do like a little in-between thing here, but I don't want it to look like it's underwater. Alright, I'm gonna test a little bit, see if this gives me the feeling that I want, but if not, then I'm just going to scrap it. It's probably not going to. See if it will or not. I'm not sure if I like that or not. Maybe not. Maybe something with a purple instead as it goes down. Maybe something a little darker? No. Alright, I'm just gonna go back with the sky blue I had, I think. I can't really tell. You need the darkness to make the light shine through. Thank you for the save, Murdoch. You need the darkness to make the light shine through, but it's not always clear where. Alright, I'm gonna try adding another layer here. I want to sort of push some of the cyans a little bit, I think. Or if it's not cyan, then we'll see what it is, but I'll throw in cyan for the moment. Just to see if it's gonna be that, or something else. Like I said, it's hard for me to push the contrast sometimes, so we're just playing around here. It's hard for me to balance elegant versus delicate. Does anyone, does that make sense at all to anyone? Or am I just speaking strangely? I think that delicacy is something that feels very, like, soft and fragile, but elegant can be much more powerful and much more, like, jewel-toned. I'm trying to see if there's an in-between that I can get there. Because once you get too light, you can't keep adding light. You have to... You know what? I might try this. Where did this go? I want this to still give me my warm highlight. Gotta head out and get ready for work? Alright, no worries, Vesta. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you have an alright time at work, and wishing you all the best. I don't want it to feel like it's underwater. I think that's the one thing I'm nervous about. I don't want it to feel underwater. Maybe, oh, you know what? Maybe I will give it a different, feeling here. What would that do? Maybe this will work. You can see what I mean when I keep saying that I'm experimenting a lot as I go, right? You can see what I mean by that. It's definitely a tricky one. And get a little bit of that cover there. Maybe change the overlay color. Oh, that does not look how it did on beforehand. Can I get rid of that? I'm gonna get rid of that. Thank you. Yeah, a little too strong. Alright. I'm gonna try cheating a little bit here. I'm gonna try throwing in some glow into the branches. Just see what would happen. Just a little bit of an experiment. Like I said, so much of this is experiment today. I think I like how that's turning out, but I want to cut it just a little, not make it as obvious. Have it a little more contrast there. I think maybe I'm not in love with that overlay. I think maybe I should leave it off. Just gonna save here one more time, just to make sure we're okay. I'm gonna grab this piece here. See if I can just... Maybe I'll flip it. Maybe that'll work. It's probably a little too random, but we'll reduce that just slightly. Take this piece and make that a little bit more intense. I think I also want to try coloring it and see what happens. Maybe try coloring some of the front here. Adding a little bit more variety. I think variety is always helpful. And this is a little bit of a cheat, but I just want to see what will happen. I'm using a existing brush, but I just want to see what's going to happen. I'm going to just throw this in a few different places. You can say it's cheating if you want, that's totally fine. But I just want to play around with what it's gonna do. I want to give this a radial blur so that it's going outside things. I want to give it outward. See if that'll work at all. Needs to think, I guess. Oh, maybe I wasn't even seeing the preview of it yet. That might be a little too much. Yeah, that's gonna be too much. Oh well. That's definitely too much. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it halfway. That's a little too much there. Let's try something a little smaller. We'll say both directions. See what this is gonna do. And I'm gonna reduce it so it's not as intense, but I kind of want that little bit of a sparkle effect. And you can see that I'm doing it a bit manually here, but I just want to get a little bit more of that feeling that I can't easily paint myself, you know? Because that's sort of what really gives it the crystalline feeling, is that, is that rainbow effect. And I can't entirely do that on my own yet. I'm gonna move some of these around so that they are in different positions. And you can see that I'm doing this, you know, straight on camera for you guys. I have nothing to hide, right? Got nothing to hide. It helps to remove it a little bit, keep it off the subject slightly. Alright, because it's sort of in the air a little bit. Might reduce this ever so slightly. And I'm going to cut the intensity just a bit here. I don't need it everywhere, I want it in a few nice spots, but it does add a lot that I would not be able to do otherwise. Just a little bit of that, sparkle. I'm just sort of going in and seeing where I need it and where I don't. I just want it on a few places, mainly on the flower itself and a little bit off and around, you know? I'm getting rid of all the tiny parts of it that don't feel as natural. Just a little bit there. I think that's good so far. I think I want to still try adding a little bit more of that color in. I think we are starting to lose it just a bit. I'm gonna go back in, put in the color. And then again, go back and slightly undo and change that. Just giving it a little bit more of a nice colored tone. Thank you, Dolphin. I appreciate it. I want to think about where this is going to crop when we're done, right? I want to make sure I'm not leaving off anything or cutting anything awkwardly. Oh, stay there. Thinking about anything else I might need here. I think I'm just, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in behind everything, and I'm just going to very, very roughly repeat what we just did. Very, very rough. Doesn't have to be super clean. Just getting the right feeling. Probably should actually just copy it. Might even be easier. See, it goes much faster once we've established what it is, right? Go here and throw it in again really quick. And again, don't need to be careful, you'll see why. Grendel, hello there, how are you doing? It's been a very tiring day with work. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry it's been tiring. I hope you can relax now that you're done, hopefully. Alright, we're kind of trying to get a very rough look at these branches, right? I just want to give them a little bit of what we had in the other part of the piece. I might shift it over just so it's not oddly placed. Grab this and expand it a little bit, throw it over here. Come on, you can do it. And one more here where we were being very loose as well. And you'll see what I'm doing in just a sec. Although some of you can probably already guess it. Just gonna push that up. Make that a little bit of a... different piece here. Throw in a little bit more of that intense darks, just in case. Found some old art projects from when I was in high school. Oh, nice. Had to clean my room because one of my mom's high school friends spending the night and staying. Oh, I see. Okay. It's nice to find old projects, though, for sure. What's my favorite type of flower? At this point, I would probably say cherry blossoms. I like what they stand for. I think they have a lot of meaning behind them. And I think they look really nice, especially against a blue, so I might be a little bit biased there. I think, you know, cherry blossoms, I think they look really good just among, like, whites and pinks, and they also look really good with blue, so, you know, they're very nice aesthetically, but I also think they also have just a really nice meaning behind them as well. You know, the whole symbolism of fleeting beauty. I think there's something very, very elegant about that. I'll take the bias toward blue as a compliment. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good on this end. So hopefully it doesn't matter that I didn't add too much detail. Hopefully that can hold out on its own. We'll see. Let's see if this can... Let's see if this is strong enough to stand on its own. Almost. Still a little messier than I'd like, I think. Can I push that further? Will that work? Maybe. Maybe I'll just reduce the opacity from that. You know, I might just experiment trying to do it with the existing flowers we have. I think I can combine these. This is just an experiment. We'll see what happens. Let's see if we were to do that. If we were to just make that a little bigger. Might work, might look stupid. We'll see. The old Japanese saying, you could spend your life searching for the perfect cherry blossom and it would not be a wasted life. I like that. I don't know why I like that, but I like that. Well, maybe it doesn't work, but neither does what I had before, so... Maybe it just doesn't need it. Maybe it should just be simplified. I like the idea of trying to do like a... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna simplify it. I like the idea in my head, but practically it didn't work. Yeah. Oh well. I feel like there must be... Oh, you know what? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do for it. I'll do some camera tricks later. I still need to add the little stem pieces. I have to make sure I don't forget doing that. Also, hello, weird alien thing. Hope you're doing well. How about cacti? Are they cute? I like succulents. Those are sweet. Is that your favorite type of flower, Grendel? Or plant, I suppose? What would that be? Plant? I'm doing well with an S on top? What? Wait, what does that mean? I'm doing well with an S on top? You're doing super? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Alright. I'm just gonna sort of get the stems here so that we can get the in-between part. How do I make this not look like a hibiscus? I'm trying to make sure the stems don't make it feel hibiscus-y. Someone being smarty pants? Yeah, a little too clever for me. I don't think I can understand it. I think I'm a little too dumb for that one. Alright, they do just kind of go in a radial pattern, don't they? Alright. Ah, I probably should have done these stems earlier. Okay, then. Jeez. How far out do these go, just so I make sure that I'm doing this correctly? I feel like I haven't seen the Twitch bots in a while. That's interesting. Instead of circles, I'm kind of making them a little bit pointed because I'm also going to try and have like a little bit of fractal patterning going on there as well. So I'm sort of doing my best to try and play that off as too. How many of these are there? Jeez. Maybe it would have been smarter to simplify it, but I am kind of curious as to how it's going to affect things. Alright, I think we're almost done here with the pieces. Getting a little lazy towards the end here. Oof. Alright. Alrighty, sounds good, Murdoch. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you can get some more sleep. But thank you for your help today. And I wish you all the best. Okay. Oof. I think that is almost done. I'm just sort of going to add little bits of color to the ends here. Just sort of brightening each end. I'm wondering if I do want to leave them off or not. Oh, I'm kind of torn. They could kind of go either way, couldn't they? I'm not sure if I like them or not yet. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think they'd add or detract from it? I guess I can't really tell. I guess it makes it feel a little bit more finished, but I really don't, I don't know. Some parts of it feel like they might be too distracting, but I'm not really sure. I think I'm also going to try to sort of like reduce the stem. I think that'll probably help as well. I think the stem might just be a little too invasive on it. So I'm just sort of going to reduce the thickness there. You say they add? Alright, well let's try it then. I'm just sort of using an eraser to reduce the size and intensity of it. Oh, and to answer your question, I've been working on them for about 2 hours now. And I think we're almost done. I think we've almost got the finishing parts on it, right? I think at this point I honestly wouldn't really know how to move forward as much, I don't think. I'm gonna try hitting them with some nice bright highlights in some areas, see if that helps. I might see if adding some bright highlights on the stem themselves could be good too. Oh, that actually looks nice. I think I might leave that on. See if I can get that working. And they're looking dashing, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to sort of experiment and do like speed work streams. So I actually want to limit how long I work on it and see how far I can get within a more limited time frame. It's sort of an experiment that I'm trying to give myself so that eventually I'm at the point where I can do this with human characters and give myself a limit as to how long I can work on painting that. And I think what I want to try to do is evolve to the point that I can do fan art of some more well-known VTubers and start doing like consistent speed paints each week. I mean, that's sort of the goal I have. I don't know how much I'll be able to stick with it, maybe once every 2 weeks. But I'm hoping that it might also be able to help me make, like, more YouTube content. I think that could be a really big part of it. I know, you want me to do tutorials, and I haven't given up on that. But I think it might help me with a bit of consistency. It's also good just to practice, doing editing, even if they're just speed paint edits. You know, because I should be doing things like shorts and stuff, and I haven't been, so. Haste exercise, quoting the blue hedgehog, gotta go fast. There you go, right? I'm really hoping that I can learn from it. I'm really hoping that it'll teach me faster ways to work. I was saying earlier on stream, I don't have the most confidence when it comes to human characters. So I want to sort of go from, like, you know, foliage to people, kind of. I want to sort of build up my confidence here in what amount I can do within a stream period. And I'm excited because I really want to be doing some fan art of different corporate VTubers, and I think it'll also sort of help get my name out there. I think I haven't done enough to really, like, help push my name out. I'm hoping maybe this could be something a little more unique. And this is sort of what I've had in my head for a while, and I haven't really been at a point where I could talk about it yet, but I think I'm at a point where we might start working on it soon. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I don't know who we're going to start off with. I'm thinking probably either Kizuna Ai, because she's like the mother of VTubers, basically. Or maybe one of the first girls from Hololive. I'm not really sure yet. But I kind of want to start off and just be able to evolve as I go. My human character art's improved dramatically. Thank you, I really, really appreciate it. I've been blessed to have a lot of opportunity where I really got to experiment with a lot of human characters that I don't think I otherwise would have ever been able to. I think I've really been blessed in some of the experiences that I've had to really try and push that. And I think now my goal is to push it in speed, because I think I can do a decent piece now, and now I want to build up the confidence and speed of it. Because I'm still very, like, I still have to think a lot about what I'm doing on each step with that kind of thing. But if I can boost the confidence and speed of it, then I'll be able to get, like, all kinds of different art quicker. You can see right now what I'm doing is I'm adding white highlights around the edges where the dark areas are, and it's helping, like, push out all the color difference. I think I mentioned it before, I was gonna drop a Black Lotus Thistle alternate character design, never did though. That would still be, might be cool to see at some point, even if you just did it, like, just for yourself. I don't know. Or just, like, maybe an inspired thing. Maybe just, like, the fact that it's, like, a Perryton character. I don't know. I don't know, I think that maybe, you shouldn't have to give up on a cool design idea if you have it still. That's just my take on it, though. What was I doing? I was adding a little bit of highlights here and there, here and there. Just adding a little bit more to the branch. Giving it a bit more of that crystal feeling. I seem zen today. Yeah, I was saying earlier that I felt like I kind of was having a bit of a, little bit of more of a Bob Ross feeling today with all the nature work going on and such. And I also set the, I set the, what do you call it? The playlist to only be playing calmer songs today, so we wouldn't have, like, you know, suddenly Speed Racer type vibes or anything. I have, like, my playlist for stream music, and then I've got, like, the calm version for stream music if necessary. So I thought that made a little more sense today. But yeah, sorry if I'm not, if I'm being a little too quiet today. I'm just sort of, I guess I'm getting into the groove of the paint a little bit. I think think we're almost good here. See if there's anything else that I am forgetting to add, maybe? If I'm overlooking anything? Kind of like that effect that I just did there. Sort of like a little in-between. Hard to tell what's going on with the glass. A little bit of an optical illusion. I like that. I'm seeing if there's any more overlay that I should do. Maybe like with a lighter, slightly deeper pink. If there's any overlay in the crystal area to do. I could cause chaos by plucking one of the flowers when you're not looking. Please don't. I think you would be cursed for that, frankly. These are actually, I don't know if you were in here when I was talking about it. This is actually for an artist named Kim Jung Gi, who sadly passed away recently. He's a really, really influential and inspiring artist, and his family asked that people paint flowers in his honor. So that's the reason that we're doing this today. And I was telling people earlier that even if you can't draw, it would still be really, really nice if you wanted to draw a flower for his family anyway and post it in the stream chat or art gallery channel. And no one has to, it's just sort of, it's sort of something that I just thought would be nice to do today. A little different than normal, right? I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out, which is a little bit surprising. Yeah, I think I needed a little bit of that little branch there to sort of finish off the composition. Yeah, right? No, for sure. Earlier I was showing, I was showing some time-lapse of his work for people who weren't familiar with him. Because, I think a lot of people have heard of his passing, but don't really know who he was. So I just sort of wanted to dedicate this stream just sort of as like a, you know, to thank him for how much he's inspired so many artists worldwide. And I just thought flowers were the best way to do it, and it also kind of gives you a bit of insight as to what's growing in the forest, you know? Because I don't think you guys know too much about the forest. A lot of you are in the forest, but a lot of you guys haven't really explored much of the fauna. So I thought it would be nice to also sort of create a visual there as well. I'm just sort of going in here and adding a little bit more to the center of each one. Just gonna add a little bit more of this branch here. There we go. I would have never begun to draw seriously if it wasn't for him. There's no comparison. Yeah, for sure. And I know, Weird Alien thing, that you in particular really, really learned a lot from him. You're right, there is no comparison. There's nothing like it. Nobody can do what he does, and I'll be the first to admit that I am not nearly anywhere near the level. I was saying that some of the stuff I did for the mansion piece kind of, like, had similar elements in terms of having a bunch of characters in a big laid-out scene all interacting, but I'm, like, you know, 100 millionth of where he is, where he was. But my gosh, is his work inspiring. Alright. I'm gonna see if I want to do one last thing that I think is a little kitsch and cliche, but maybe to other people, but I think it's still fitting for the kind of stuff that I do. I'm gonna see if this works or not. See how I want to approach this. See if that's gonna work at all or not. Maybe not, but just want to test it out. Like I said, we're just sort of playing around here, seeing what may or may not work. Maybe I'll erase a tiny bit on the edge there, just so we can see that a little clearer. Thank you for the save, Grendel. I might get rid of that piece right there, just the red is a little intense and coming out of nowhere. I'm gonna see if I want to do one more cliche thing, but you know what? I don't care. I keep saying cliche because I think it might be cliche to other people, but I want to try to stop caring as much. Let's see what might work here for a little bit of decoration. Making things, you know, very, very fun and light, and just trying to figure out the best way to do it. Just a little bit of extra here. See what it looks like without it falling over to the edge. Maybe ever so slightly reduce it. Keep it in some areas, leave it in others. Ever so slight. Just a little bit. Maybe change the color a little bit. Reduce it ever so slightly. I remain contained with the colors. If you fade the rainbow enough, maybe it'll work. Yeah, hopefully it's faded enough here. I don't want it to look like dust. I might try that one more time. Maybe try making that a little bit larger. Maybe seeing what happens if we just... Is there a particle size I can play with here? See if we just have... Tiny bit in between, maybe? What would that do? I think maybe that could work if I don't go too hard on it. Might end up looking a little too much like dust. I might not use it. Actually, you know what I might do? I might do it like right... Maybe just ever so slightly on the edges there. I don't know. Maybe not. It's so small that it's not really making the difference, right? Also, hello, Aiden. But yeah, we're just kind of... Whoop, 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 whoop. I don't want to move this. I don't want to move this. Ah! Alright, how about dense? Can't make it any larger, huh? Alright, let's just try a little bit of this. It might not work, might scrap it, but I think it's worth at least trying it out. Actually, there's an easier way to do this. I can just go to the back here, select from layer, invert. It would help if I used the right one. Where'd I put this? There we go. Just adds a tiny bit more texture there, I think. Just a tiny bit. Not going crazy here, but just a little bit of extra texture. Just something to add into the back. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab the card inside, select from layer. Invert. I have one piece here. That's just part of my sketch. My sketch earlier. I think that might be it. Let me see if there's anything else here that I need. I have so many freaking dodge and glow layers. Move this piece over. Make it shine from the silhouette a little bit more. Yeah. And grab this one. Make it stand out. Not get lost. Pretty much white. That's why I was saying earlier that you have to have to figure out where the darks and your lights are, so that things can play nicely together. Yeah, that seems nicer. I think it just needs something else, but I just don't know what yet. I think it needs one last thing to, like, kind of tie it together, but I don't know where it is. Might try one more thing here. Again, as I said from the beginning, this is super experimental. So we're really just playing around. I think there's something I like about that tone. Alright, what if we took that and put it in the background? What would that do? Alright, I like the extra life it gives, but it is a little intense, so let's try erasing it slightly from the flowers in the middle. I wonder if this just needs to change. I wonder if this should be slightly warm. No, it should have a little bit more of that intensity. Maybe that helps brighten it up a little, though. I think I like that it adds a little bit more delicacy that way. What happened with the, Oh, we lost a lot here, though. Hang on a sec. This made us lose some of our color up here. Let's erase a little bit of that. I don't want it to feel random, but... yeah, we don't need that. The light is spot on now. Yeah, it's interesting how you kind of like, you keep playing with the feeling of it until it just gives you the right environment that you want. There's a part of me that's still... Alright, I'm gonna try going in and adding a few more color blocks that are darker in the areas that don't have anything. And I just want to try something. Just in a few different spots. Not gonna be this intense, but just something to sort of show that there's two planes to each flower petal. this might not work. This is just, again, more slight experiment with some darker tones to push a contrast again. I'm not gonna lie, I've always hated that scene. It's always just been like... it always just seems so unnecessary. Alright, we're not gonna make it that strong. We're just gonna reduce it a little bit. We're also gonna change the tone here. Maybe also add a little bit of a different color too. I think that added just a tiny bit more, just to sort of make it feel a little bit, a little bit more fractal-like. And I'll probably blur the edges on that just a tiny bit, just so they're not as intense. Just so they feel like they're coming from the underside. Yeah. Yeah. You want to have a perfectionism command? Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. Alright. Okay. Alright. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I probably need one, honestly. Maybe it's something to consider. Alright, let's make that a little bit more intense. Alright. This is probably as far as we can go, right? This is probably like... this is probably where the limits of what I can do are. I can't think of... Yeah. I don't think I would know any way to push this further at this point. I'm sure there are ways that this could be improved, but... alright, we'll call it then. We'll call it. Oh my gosh, I've definitely learned a lot from this piece. Definitely had fun with this. Definitely enjoyed this. Yeah, I think I might debate on putting it on the rotating gallery above my head there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure if this is like how I had it in my head, but I think it's I think it works well. Also, when did we go so over time? Okay. Alright, this was more of a 2.5 hour piece then, I suppose. Put it? Okay. Oh my gosh, Grendel. You definitely make me think about these things sometimes. Oh, alright. Well, thank you so much to those who stopped by today and watched watched my process in working on this. It really means a lot for people who came today, just because I think that this was a really important to honor the artist, Kim Jung Gi, who I'd mentioned earlier. I know that it was a bit of a quieter stream today, not as active, but it really means a lot to those of you guys who came. And I think that next stream, we might attempt to do either Kizuna I or someone from Hololive, and I want to see how much we can get done in one stream. If we can get a piece done like this that sort of has a rough, speed-painted, finished feeling. That's sort of one of my goals, is to see, like, what we can do with something a bit rougher, but also finished. So, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, or night. Thank you so much, Stargazers. All the best.